let's do countermeasures. Countermeasures, the best one yet. Now, how can you actually define countermeasures? You actually can't. Countermeasures is something that, as long as technology expands, it can constantly go. Let's go through it. Countermeasures. So let's say you have U.S. Department of Justice, DEA, Drug Enforcement Agency, who may be working with ATF. Two people, ATF, DEA. Very simple. Now, countermeasures. How can they employ countermeasures to stop drugs from coming into the U.S.? So, let's go back. This is America. ATF, DEA work together to stop drugs from coming from Rodney. Or better yet, can we actually use Colombia? Let's use Colombia. Let's say there's a little island over here. And this little island happens is they make some of the best drugs on the planet. That's right. They make some of the best drugs on the planet. So, let's call this Colombia. It's a little island. And they make the best drugs there at all. It's 99.9% pure. What happens is, in order to get this shipped over to the U.S., they got to go through Rodney. So let's say they ship it one day over to a port in Rodney. And what happens is they try to ship that all the way over to some port in the U.S. to get it to all their customers all over. Now, that's okay. That's basically business. I mean, even international businesses use that. China, they do their products. Once the people over there who actually get paid cheap labor, they make the product, they design the product that goes from one place to a shipping port. The shipping port takes it to another country. The other country over there resells it or actually sells it back to a manufacturer, or they sell it as bulk to a large business or corporation. That corporation sends it overseas after they pay for it, and then they can put it in dollar stores. Very simple. So, for example, let's go back, let's use this Sharpie. It's a mini Sharpie. It's name brand, but it's very small. Now, how much do you think it costs to make this little thing? It's a piece of plastic. That's it. About 5–10 cents to make this. Let's say it just costs 5 cents. What's 5 cents to make it, all right? Let's just use 5 cents. 5 cents to make this little thing. Now, many of you are actually saying, oh, come on, it can't cost that much. It's got to be more. Well, here's the thing. It's actually made of plastic. The plastic itself is actually recycled plastic, which you can actually get for free. That's right, free. All they actually have to do is pay for back cap, which is actually recycled plastic, the tube inside of here, and the ink, which they can probably get about 2 or 3 cents, and it comes in by a gallon. Remember, it's not full of ink. It's full of cloth. There's cotton in here and some kind of polyester material. They actually squeeze the ink down. That's it. So about 5 cents. Now, how much did I pay for it in the store? This was actually about 2 for $1.50 or so. It was about 2 of these, 3 of these for $50 or something like that. So let's just say it cost 75 cents for one. Okay, this is going to get back to countermeasures. 75 cents for one. Okay, why in the hell did I pay 75 cents for something that cost 5 cents? Middlemen, maybe? Shipping? For some reason, the price went up. Now, this could have been due to shipping, it could have been due to middlemen, okay? This is just getting back to the example, we're just trying to expand this out here. So this is a product. This, let's say, is heroin, or something like that. Let's say it's marijuana. And it's coming in from Colombia. It goes over to Rodney, and it gets shipped all the way over to different parts of the U.S. Now, ATF and the Drug Enforcement Agency, DEA, know that this product is dangerous because if the kids here who go to school get their hands on this special drug, let's say this, let's say this is a nice, good-looking bowl of crack. Now, I know that sounded a bit weird, but let's say it was a good, nice-looking bowl of crack. This is some amazing crack right here. You can't find crack better than this. This crack right here is so good, even Christ wants to get his hands on it. This is holy crack. Just an example. Might have expanded a bit too much. But let's just say it's an illegal drug. Okay, it's just a box of mints. I don't want the FBI coming down on me. It's a real good-looking box of mints, don't get me wrong. I've never found a yellow one in here. But let's say this is crack. I take this crack all the way over to the world to sell my product. What kind of countermeasures could they have to stop me from selling my amazing crack? Can they stop me? No. Do you know why? Because this crack is so amazing that everyone wants to get their hands on it. What kind of countermeasures could they actually... Now, what is a countermeasure? Let's define that. A countermeasure is something that they can actually use to stop you from acting on something else. So it's very simple. A countermeasure to stop me from bringing in my beautiful, expensive crack. This is going to be a weird episode. All the way over from Colombia, the crack goes all the way over. It goes from Colombia to Rudney. It goes to different ports of Rudney, all over. Gets shipped to the U.S. It gets shipped here. Now, what kind of countermeasures could they come up with to stop me from giving you this amazing crack? Well, it's very simple. One, they could stop shipping. Now, what happens if they stop shipping? Well, guess what happens? The price ends up going up. Now, let's use this. If it costs me 5 cents to ship, for example, let's say this right here costs 5 cents. This was 5 cents here. And as it gets shipped over to this part, the price goes up. Very simple. Very simple thing. The price goes up. It's 5 cents, it's 10 cents, it's 15 cents. From each place that it ships, it gets more expensive. So by the time it comes over here, it's actually 75 cents. Very simple. Hey, as I said, everybody wants to get their hands on this amazing crack. Now, the crack is so good that you will pay double price for it. Okay? So let's go back to this. Countermeasures. Now, what are one ways they can actually stop? One, they can stop you from shipping. So how can they do that? Basically, if I take the product from Colombia to Rudney, there are spaces here, right here, and here, that they can come and basically stop me. Now, how do they do that in the water? It's basically simple. You just get a shipping vessel. You get a boat here, something like that. And what happens is, as my people are shipping the crack from one place to another place, ATF can come in the water and say, hey, stop right there. We know you got crack on board. We're arresting you for possession and illegally selling to minors, or so like that. That's a countermeasure. A countermeasure would be stopping you from shipping this product from here to here. Better yet, they can actually get you in the water. But what's another countermeasure? Let's say you were here in Colombia, and you got an email from, better yet, you got an email from Ron in San Jose. And Ron in San Jose says, hey, I love that amazing crack you have, man. That was amazing. That lit up the neighborhood. We got to get some more of that holy powder. So Ron goes ahead and says, hey, I got to get some more of that holy powder. Ron goes ahead, calls Diana and says, Diana, you got to send more of that crack from Colombia. Diana goes ahead to her source. Her source tells the guys at Colombia they need more crack. So they go ahead, and Colombia orders more crack, and they send it over. Now, here's a countermeasure. Diana emails them saying, hey, your cousin's present is in a locker at the airport, and here's the combination. So, let's say the guy over here, let's name him Ricky. Ricky, that's a good drug name right there. If your name is Ricky, I'm not picking on you. But Ricky is the guy who says, hey, all right, so I'm picking up the shipment here. Now, what's a countermeasure? Stopping the email. You can stop the email, but better yet, you can catch the email. ATF can go ahead and say, hey, it's going to take Ricky 24 hours to get to that locker. We can get there in 14 hours. They intercept Diana's email. Diana's email is now intercepted, and it takes ATF 14 hours to get to that locker. Now, they've got a chance to get to that locker before anything else. 14 hours later, they get to the locker, they pull out about, let's say, 200 pounds of crack and marijuana. Okay, great. But now, is the job over? No. The job is not over. Just because you have possession of drugs does not mean the job is over. What happens is, they say, okay, well, that's fine. But here's what we're going to do. We can go ahead and take the drugs, but we got to catch Ricky. So here's what ATF does. ATF says, hey, we got to go back to the United States and process it. ATF takes the product back over to the U.S. The Drug Enforcement Administration says, hey, we're going to stay here. They wait a couple hours later, and they put a fake bag in there with a gym bag. And Ricky comes over, looks around, checks out, no one's looking at him and everything like that. It looks okay. It's an actual stakeout, though. So Ricky goes ahead, opens the locker, pulls out the drugs, and then tries to walk away. And then boom, DEA comes in, says, hey, where you going? The guy's like, hey, nothing, I'm just taking, my gym stuff out. Really? Gym stuff? You live in Colombia, you're taking your gym stuff out now? Yeah, they open the bag, and of course, it's not going to be, it has to be drugs in there, because it's a setup. Ricky doesn't know it, but DEA knows it. It's a setup. You have to have them catch drugs in there. If there are drugs in there, boom, you got them on the hook. Now, you can, of course, go to the guy, say, hey, you want to work with us? We're DEA. We'll give you a lighter sentence if you squeal or snitch about who's working with you. It depends if he wants to do that. So that's a countermeasure. A countermeasure can be intercepting emails. A countermeasure to stop them from shipping that product could be catching them while they're still in the ocean. A countermeasure could actually be taking the information here and then doubling back and then interrogating Ricky. What's another countermeasure? Basically, another countermeasure could be going up to the person's house, saying, hey, we know everything. We know about the case, we know about the drugs, we know about where it's getting shipped from, and if you're not willing to work with us, we can arrest you right now. Now you can flip the person. Basically means, let's say, flipping is you working for one person and they're going to flip you and saying, hey, you got to work with us or we're going to arrest you. Basically simple. That's a flip. So there are many countermeasures. Countermeasures are stopping someone from accessing or doing something you don't want them to do. They're about to access a good, you apply a countermeasure to stop them from accessing that. Basically simple. They stop them from accessing the drugs. They took the drugs. They stopped him from walking away with the drugs. They arrested him. That's a countermeasure. And it's a good countermeasure. So there are many different kinds of countermeasures you can use. You're going to have to look this up online as you go along. But let's say a countermeasure now. Are there tools you can use for countermeasure? Yes, there are tools. I'm still holding the crack, whatever it is. But there are tools you can use. You can use email, basically computer technology, as we had here, email. What's another countermeasure that you can actually use? The boat. You can use that for arresting these guys here. But as I said, there's a lot of different countermeasures you can actually do. Basically stop the person from accessing that. Is it counterintelligence? Counterintelligence is getting the information. The countermeasure is the actual stopping of the person. What did they do? They went and they arrested him. The counterintelligence would be going on the computer and intercepting that email. That's counterintelligence. Now, was it illegal to actually access someone's information? Yes, it is illegal. You would need a search warrant to do that. You can't just illegally go ahead and do that. You need a search warrant. So, you need a warrant to go ahead, intercept her email, and then go ahead and do that. So, a countermeasure would be using computer technology to intercept someone else to get what you basically want. That would be a countermeasure. Okay? And there's a whole lot of information on doing that. I marked the whole board. I'm looking like Barney right now, but that's basically it. All right? So for those of you out there, enjoy your amazing crack.